Protein coffee is a really easy way to bump up your protein and support a fat loss goal. That is, if you're doing it the right way. A lot of people are making some pretty huge mistakes that are not only stalling their weight loss, but actually causing weight gain. So today I'm sharing 5 mistakes that you'll want to avoid if you're looking to maximize for fat loss. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. On my channel, I share the science-backed and delicious information to help you achieve your weight loss and wellness dreams without counting calories. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Today's video is also sponsored by Element, but more on them in a bit. Okay, let's just jump straight into it. That first mistake is having it too late in the day. No matter how you slice it, it is still a lot of caffeine. And even if you think you're somebody who isn't impacted by caffeine, and if you are able to just pass out immediately after having caffeine, it still could be impacting your sleep quality. That means that you could be having like 8 hours of sleep, but that sleep quality is really bad. And poor quality sleep is directly tied to weight gain around the belly. Now, if you want to see if that's happening to you, you can track this with something like a Fitbit or another fitness tracker. It'll break down your sleep quality and show you how much time you spend in REM or deep and give you a sleep score, which is just a good thing to check in on every now and then. Because if you are getting poor quality sleep and if you are having caffeine too late in the day from your protein coffee, then that is one really easy swap that you could make that could improve not just your fat loss journey, but also your energy levels the next day and your sleep and how you feel as well. Now, if you're a slow metabolizer of caffeine like myself, you'll probably want to stick to about 10 a.m. or earlier. Like it is currently 9:32 and I'm still finishing up my coffee, so I need to finish it fast. If you're a fast metabolizer, you're probably okay with around noon. And some signs that you're a slow metabolizer is if you get anxious from coffee, if you get jittery, or if you have a hard time focusing once you do have caffeine, or if your heart rate tends to go up when you have caffeine. If you're a fast metabolizer, you don't really experience these symptoms and you tend to need multiple cups of coffee. Okay, the second mistake is having protein coffee in place of breakfast. Now, caffeine can suppress your appetite, and especially when you pair that with protein, it can really shut down your appetite, which could theoretically sound great, especially if you do have a fat loss goal. The problem comes in is when that caffeine appetite suppression wears off. You are running off of a lot less fuel, a lot less nutrients than you normally would have had, which can result in immediate sensations of hunger, as well as pretty severe mood swings, aka hanger, all of which could drive you to eat sugary, starchy foods that don't support your goals because your body is looking for a fast source of energy to get what it didn't get earlier. And I know what you're thinking, well, what about keto coffee? This is honestly such a different scenario because when you add in protein, you have now made it a meal. And normally a meal would also have fat and fiber to help really shut off hunger, to provide the nutrients the body needs, and to prevent that sudden sensation of hunger. And protein coffee will break a fast, whereas keto coffee will not break a fast. I have a couple videos on this. I'll have it linked up here if you want to check that out. So instead of viewing protein coffee as a meal replacement, view it as something that you have along with a meal that is still rich in protein, fat, and fiber. It's supportive of that meal. It doesn't replace that meal. That way you will have stable energy levels. You will have stable blood sugar. You won't experience that sudden crash, and you'll be able to continue eating foods and acting in a way that supports your health and wellness goals. Plus, just having too much caffeine in general can absolutely drain our body of electrolytes, which can make us feel really low in energy and then just reach for more and more caffeine, which is why I'm a huge fan of today's sponsor, Element. Element is an amazing electrolyte company that was specifically created with intermittent fasting, low carb eating, and athletes in mind. It actually contains the sodium, magnesium, and potassium to help balance electrolyte levels, all without having any sugar. I've been adding Element into my water since 2021. I have it every single day, especially because I do drink coffee. I know just how important it is to actually replace my electrolytes. Otherwise, I do feel so much lower in energy. I don't feel properly hydrated, and I end up just reaching for more coffee that does not support any of my wellness goals. And Element makes it really easy to remember to get my electrolytes in because it tastes so good. My two favorite flavors are their grapefruit salt and their lemonade salt. I actually think lemonade salt is my all-time favorite now, but Element also comes in other delicious flavors too, like their citrus, orange, raspberry. They even have chocolate flavors, which is so good mixed with hot water for like a hot chocolatey type of drink without sugar and while still getting your electrolytes. And you can get a free 8-count sample pack of Element's most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase at drinkelement.com/autumn. Find your favorite Element flavor or share it with a friend. This is only available through my link, so make sure to check out drinklmnt.com/autumn. The link is also in the description down below. Okay, the third mistake is adding sweetener into your protein coffee. Flavored syrups, honey, maple syrup, and then just plain old sugar. Regardless of which you choose, even if it's a more natural option, you are adding sugar into your drink. And sugar sweetened drinks specifically are so tied to a lot of issues like obesity, various chronic diseases. And it's because when sugar is in liquid form, like in protein coffee, it is so easy for our body body to absorb it very, very quickly, cause a huge spike and crash in blood sugar levels, which can cause even more cravings later in the day, but also is just not supportive of stable blood sugar levels, not supportive of our body tapping into sustainable fat stores. And if you think you're in the clear because you're using artificial sweeteners, especially like the syrups, a very recent 2025 study found that artificial sweeteners like sucralose can actually trigger a part of your brain in the hypothalamus that can mess with our ability to regulate appetite and lead to a lot more hunger and cravings. So yeah, you're not getting the sugar, but you're getting that appetite dysregulation that can lead to a lot of other issues with the rest of your meals. And it appears the sweeter something is, the worse the outcome can be. This is why super sweetened protein powders can also be an issue. This is why with our vanilla protein powder, we only very lightly sweetened it with a natural zero sugar sweetener, monk fruit. So you can get that slightly sweet taste, but not the hyper palatable sweet taste that could just drive even more sugar cravings. Okay, the fourth mistake is you're using collagen. Now, it's not that collagen is inherently a problem. It's only a problem if you're using collagen in your protein coffee and thinking that you're having protein coffee. Now, collagen is great. It's an amazing source of different amino acids that are really supportive of joint and skin and gut health. It can even help with preventing hunger, especially when you pair it with other protein sources. But collagen is not a complete protein. It doesn't act the way, it doesn't have the same benefit. It actually technically has a Dias score of 0. So if you're counting your protein coffee that has 20 grams of collagen in it toward your overall protein, you're not really going to be getting the same benefits as if you were to have 20 grams of a different complete protein like a whey protein powder. So if you want to use collagen, absolutely go for it. That is not a problem, but just know that you still will need to get other sources of protein with that meal. So pairing your protein coffee that has collagen in it with a protein-rich meal that has 30 to 50 grams of complete protein in it. That way you don't miss out on the body recomposition and fat loss specific benefits that eating more protein can provide. Okay, the fifth mistake is that you're adding fats. MCT oil, coconut oil, butter, almond butter. Now, again, it might sound like if you're adding MCT or coconut oil or butter into your coffee that you're essentially just making a keto coffee, but that's not the case at all. Keto coffee is where your coffee just has coffee and fats in it. And when you have that type of drink, it makes it so your insulin doesn't spike and you can stay in more of that fat burning mode longer. But when you add protein into it, it is now a meal. Your body will have insulin go up. You are no longer in that fasting mimicking state. And you need to actually treat this as a meal, which means you either need to pair your protein coffee with a meal or you need to turn your protein coffee into a meal replacement, which means you could make your protein coffee into a protein coffee smoothie, which I have a lot of delicious recipes on that. And that would mean you're also adding in sources of fiber and other high quality sources of fat and getting enough protein in that coffee to actually make it substantial enough for a meal. But if you just add in a tablespoon or so of MCT oil along with your protein coffee, now it's just a small snack. And snacking is not as supportive of sustainable fat loss goals as eating 3 meals. Now, if you do like to add something like MCT oil into your coffee because you find that it helps to slow down how quickly that caffeine is absorbed and therefore doesn't make you have the jitters, that's also fine. But just remember, you have now made the coffee more of a meal and you now need to pair it with a meal that has all of the other nutrients your body needs at that time. So you could pair with something like a Greek yogurt bowl, my high protein overnight oats, some scrambled eggs, whatever it is, just make sure that you're now pairing it with a meal, which really you should be doing regardless if you are having protein coffee. Which, speaking of, I recently perfected the ultimate vanilla latte style protein coffee. It's rich, it's creamy, it's so delicious and just lightly sweet. And it's absolutely perfect to pair with your breakfast to really boost up your protein. So if you want that recipe, you can find it with this video next. Also, if you're new to my channel and you love the science-backed and delicious information, make sure you subscribe right here. Come out new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in my next video.